The reason why you're struggling on defense right now in Madden 26 is you don't have a blitz that can get the quarterback on the ground. Or worse, you don't know which defensive playbook you should be using. But don't worry, because I just helped this player, and this player transform their defense in Madden 26. And I'm going to do the same thing for you so long as you follow the 5 tips I break down in this video. They're going to get better as we go along, so you're not going to want to miss out on any of them. Let's jump right into it. Alright, like I said in the intro, you need a blitz and get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. Let me show you one that all the top pro players are using right now. Alright, so this is going to be from the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook, okay? This blitz in particular. I'll have the playbooks that this is found in on the screen, but we're going to come into cover 4 quarters, okay? You want to make sure you have auto flip off. Alright, you're going to come into the play. You want to move this linebacker right here all the way over here. Now, he's going to, if you bump him basically into that guy, into the other linebacker, he'll stay put. That's probably an issue that a lot of you guys are having, is he's not staying put. But if you just bump him into that linebacker first, he will. Okay, then press RB, right stick up to pass him in your defense. Now, we're going to take the snap for the offense, and you can just see how he's able to get that looping pressure. Now, for that time in particular, he wasn't able to loop all the way around, so it's kind of, hit or miss. But it's like that with every blitz. We understand that. That's why it's important to play good coverage on the back end. But edits here. We're just gonna go through it again, making sure that you're having a good user. But set it up one more time. You can see how if I move him over, he moves back. But if I bump him basically into this guy, he'll stay. All right, and then I'm just going to user Lloyd. I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to pass give my defense, right? And so we're going to try to get it again. Boom, move the offensive line, and then we're able to play good defense. Now, we get him coming off the edge. If you want to switch stick here, I have 2 controllers, so it's a little bit harder for me. But if I was playing, I would probably switch stick, but you are in match coverage. So your guys are they're going to do a good job, just by default of, playing good coverage. I've talked about this blitz many times before in videos, but we're going to come stand right here. Boom, now he's going to stay put. And you can see how he's going to stay put literally every single time with this defense if you just bump him correctly. So again, pass commit, try to get the attention of the offensive line, and there it is. You're able to see we're able to get that sack because he's able to loop around. So that's really a perfect illustration of this defense. You have good match coverage in the back end. You can switch stick, have a good user, but from only a 4-man rush, you're going to be able to get looping pressure right through the A-gap. All right, in order to play good defense, you need to make sure you can stop the run. Let me show you exactly how I like to do that. Alright, I personally feel like run defense is something that's very easy and it gets dragged out a little bit by people that clearly don't know what they're doing. But luckily for you, you're watching this video now, so now you certainly know what you're doing, okay? So we're going to stand 4 yards over the guard on the halfback side like I talk about all the time. So the right guard in this case, okay? So we're going to stand right here, and then we're just going to basically loop around him. So again, boom, loop around the offensive line and press X on Xbox, square on PlayStation to get that dive tackle. The dive tackle is critical to your ability to stop the run because speed bursting is a thing in this game. And so you want to try to get the ball carrier down as soon as possible and not let him get to the second level potentially of your defense. So again, boom, take it, or they take the snap, you win until the quarterback has the ball, then you start moving. Okay, shout out to Shadur Sanders for making the Pro Bowl yesterday. But boom, we loop all the way around, and then we shoot through that gap. You see how small that gap is? Honestly, though, between 75 and 68, we get through there, and then we dive to cut the legs out of the ball carrier and force him to he's not going to be able to tackle battle us. He's not going to be able to stiff arm, truck, speed boost, do any of that, right? So it's important that you get this guy down as fast as possible. It's even more important now that the speed burst is a thing, right? So you're going to see stand 4 yards over the guard. We're going to try to loop around, and then that time you can see how there's going to be times where your AI defenders are going to be able to come down and make plays, potentially even before you, which is nice, but I would say it's not guaranteed, and it's kind of just random right here. You can kind of see the offensive line does a really bad job on this play, especially number 68, right? He kind of lets 51 come in free, but I was also right there to get the Superman dive and try to cut out that guy's legs, okay? So you can see how easy run defense really becomes when you just loop around the line. These guys are going to be too slow to actually get out there and block you if you do the technique correctly, but does take practice. I'm a veteran, been doing it for years, gap shooting, and so I have a good hold on it. Now for you though, I would possibly recommend this defense, mid blitz from nickel double mug, which is another really good run defense, okay? So we're going to come in here, we're going to stand, or we're going to take this safety, All right, we're gonna stand directly right here over the center, just so that the running back, excuse me, we're not gonna take a safety. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're gonna take this guy, stand directly over the center, okay? What this is gonna do is put a flame icon over the top of this other linebacker. So you can see I'm using pace. Cashman now has a flame icon over his head. If we look at the offense's POV, right? Obviously, you wouldn't be able to see that in a game, but I'm telling you that if I'm standing right here, the flame icon's over the other two guys. If I'm here now, it moves, right, to over Cashman, okay? So boom, we're gonna take it, and what does that do? It allows for Cashman to come in free. That time he got chipped up, unfortunately, so he wasn't able to just run in free. But consistency, we're just gonna stand directly over the center again, boom, and that time you see he's actually able to just run through, make the play. Honestly, pretty rare that what happened in that first play happens. A lot of the time, once you stand directly over the center, and again, this takes no effort from you. All you have to do is run into the center and the play's over. Right, so again, boom, very consistent, honestly, where he's able to just run down and stop the run. Now, there's going to be times where he misses that tackle, or they might try to speed boost away from you, okay? And the best way to counter that is to click on and then dive immediately. Click on dive tackle, click on conservative tackle with A, whatever you got to do, but sometimes you don't want to let your AI defender make the play. Sometimes you just want to take onus with your user, because you can basically see as soon as this handoff is complete, we wrap the guy up. So they don't have a chance to speed boost. They don't have a chance to juke, truck, spin, do any of that, because now the play's over. So honestly, sometimes dive tackling, with this is even better. But bottom line here with this run defense, you move over top of the center, it retargets the offensive line and allows a flame icon to be over the top of your linebacker. Very, very easy to set up and do. All right, if you found any of these defensive tips helpful so far, go down below in the comment section, comment free. I'll send you a free guide to dominate Madden 26. Let's jump right back into it. All right, you're never gonna be able to play good defense if you don't have the right playbook equipped. Let me show you the best one that I like right now. All right, so that playbook is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Why? Because they have the nickel double mug that I just showed you that allows you to, basically play instant run defense. But it's not just on there, because the Vikings have basically nickel 2-4 is good, nickel 3-3 mug good, double mug's good, odds good, Cubs good, dime 2-3 Sam is good. 4-3 even 6-1's good, right? So they just have so many really good defenses, okay? And we're gonna show you one right here that's, part of my defensive ebook at the link in the pinned comment that I'll tell you about later. But we're gonna see it right here. We're gonna call Samuel Blitz from from 4-3 even 6-1. Look at this. This is going to be instant run defense too, right? So we're gonna have them just call inside zone, and you're gonna see you just have too many guys lined up over the offensive line that you're able to see 3 guys are gonna come in free. They're not going to be able to cut back, and they're not going to be able to cut the ball out to the edge. This is turn your brain off kind of run defense, where all you have to do is run into the center. Okay, run into the center and your job's complete, because the flame icon is over the top of a defensive tackle, and he just kicked him in the face. But it's so easy. So again, we call inside zone, we look at their play art. When you stand over the center, the flame icon's over the top of a guy who can just very easily make a play. And he needs some speed to him, right? You want to make sure that he's a fast guy so he can just kind of run through. Or you could do kind of what I talked about earlier, where you just click onto him, right? So you go ahead, call inside zone again, I click onto him, and then dive tackle to make sure that we really make that play. But the great thing about 4-3 even 6-1, not only can it stop the run, but it can stop the pass. All right, so we're going to pinch our defensive line right here. We're going to move this guy over. You can do whatever you want as far as coverage, honestly, but I'm going to show you a blitz setup here, okay? So we're going to shift our D-line to the left. We're going to drop our linebacker right here, our outside linebacker, into a curl flat, or you could man him up onto the running back. If you wanted to do that, and then drop your user in his zone, you can really do whatever you want. And then I would always pass through my defense. Now, this is the turbo engage that we talk about all the time. You want to make sure you're standing over the center. You press D-pad up, you hold right trigger and left stick down. Okay, boom, we take the snap. If we can get the attention of the center, you see how even that time with a blocked running back, we get instant pressure, and we're able to get a sack fumble because of it, right? So again, get the attention of the center, and then we're able to just come in free off the edge because all the pressure's over here on this right side, and then we just bring our free rusher off this left side. The O-line doesn't account for him. The running back never sees him, and the whole O-line's confused. Now, here's the key: getting back into coverage with your user, which you're able to see I do at the last second right there. So, because you want to make sure that if someone gets open quickly over the middle of the field, you're spamming A/X on PlayStation to get off the block. But you do have an extra guy in coverage because you don't blitz this outside linebacker, and so again, it makes it very easy. You're playing 5-on-6 right there, and you're easily able to just get pressure on the quarterback, right? So if we go ahead and just send the running back out this time, and that'll make sure that we get an accurate description of how this defense is, right? So we're going to shift our D-line to the left. We're going to still turbo engage by pressing D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down. All right, we're going to take the snap by the offense, get the attention of the center, and it's the same thing where 75 was blocking nobody on that play. So you essentially take him out of the play. Right, so again, then at that point, it's already 5-on-5 right here. Last play was 5-on-6 for them. Now it's 5-on-5, but it doesn't really matter because clearly if it can work with the blocked running back, it can work when they send him out. And it just comes down to the fundamental execution of the play. You get the attention of 56, and then they just don't have enough guys to be able to block, and so then you're able to get pressure off of the edge. All right, so really that's how you can utilize 4-3 even 6-1 from the Vikings playbook. A really good blitz. But like I said earlier, it's like you have so many other good formations that I've talked about in my videos, in my defensive ebook, that's going to allow you to play really good defense. So Vikings, the best defensive playbook in the game right now. All right, so if you enjoyed that blitz, I encourage you to go down below to the link down below in the description and pinned comment and grab my Vikings defensive ebook by going to bltforlife21.com and using code WELCOME at checkout on your first purchase. Can't wait to help you out on defense. All right, the next thing you're probably struggling with on defense is stop corner routes, post routes, crossers, whatever it is. I'm going to shut it down right here. All right, so obviously I talk about the double Mabel coverage a lot to stop corner routes, right? Where you put your, flats on 25, curl flats 5, you call cover 2, right? You set up the double Mabel, right? But here in this video, we're gonna be talking about something a little bit different. So we're going to put all 3 zone drop depths on default, so default, all right? And then we're gonna come into match coverage. So you can do this from cover 4 palms, cover 4 quarters, but I really like cover 6. And again, that's cover 6 is part of the defensive ebook because it's a fundamental part of defense. All right, all you're going to do, shift your D-line to the left, right, with this, all right, and then you kind of want to just stand over top of the center, all right. You're going to call a custom stunt, particularly in this case, the left exit 2-man, all right, call the left exit. Excuse me. You're going to shift your D-line to the right. Shift your D-line to the right, and then you're going to call the right Tom 2-man stunt, all right. Excuse me, the right exit 2-man, the right exit 2-man stunt. Then you're going to pass commit, stand directly over the center. But what's going to happen when they try to call these corner routes, especially if they call like street corner flat, right? If they call street corner flat, what's going to happen is everything's going to be matched onto. So again, turbo engage, D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down. All right, have them take the snap. You get the attention, and then you're able to see we just push our way into the quarterback, and everyone, is able to play with the good defense, right? Sack the quarterback, all that, right? But here's the thing: I got really quick pressure right there because we used the custom stunt. We were able to confuse the offensive line, basically get the tackle. This is the left tackle to bump all the way over and have to pick up a defensive tackle. He's going to absolutely destroy him because he's way more powerful. And then also we got our edge rusher to come in free because the whole line shifted in the other direction, and then the running back has to pick him up. And as I talk about all the time, running backs cannot block linebackers on any consistent basis. They're just going to get pushed right into the quarterback like you see right there. But this is a really good corner route defense. And that's clearly what we're talking about right here. You're able to see we're basically going to be sitting on this, right? No chance for this to get open. Street corner flat bagged. Why? Because again, we're in match coverage. So our route's going to be guarded by this, quarter flat right here. And then we're going to be able to sit on this corner route down the field. We're also obviously able to take away the shriek. So the cover 4 side is going to do a great job of stopping those corner route flood concepts that everyone wants to abuse, right? And then your only responsibility as a user, although you do have help right here with number 0 who's going to be in that kind of 3-rec hook assignment, but you're also able to see boom, you just have to have a good user. As soon as this ball snap, I get on the block, but then I'm spamming A to get off of it. So I get off the block, I drop out into coverage, and then I'm able to kind of just take everything away down the field, have a good user over the middle of the field, stop whatever they're trying to do. And I did tell you guys that this will stop like crossing routes too, right? So if we just put Tillman right here in a crosser, we have them call a little bit of a different route concept here. And here's the thing, when you run a match, you have to understand that your user responsibility is going to depend on the routes that they have on the field. So again, we're going to call the right exit two-man stunt, right? We're going to stand directly over the center, press D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down, right? We're going to have them take the snap. I'm spamming A to get off the block, and now you're able to see that, soft squat did a great job of following that crosser all the way over the field, right? So if you wanted to switch stick onto this guy, have him come down, take away this swinging route, you could, right? Or obviously if they just block the running back, you could just leave it. This is pretty good defense because you're able to see how he's trailing him for most of the play, but honestly, he catches up to him really, really well. And then if you wanted to switch stick onto this safety to come down and kind of take it away too, you can do that. Obviously, the out route's taken away by our quarter flat here, and then your user could do a great job just taking away this little spot route, although your 3-rec hook also does a good job of coming down on it. And then obviously you're able to get your custom stunt, get good pressure on the quarterback. So you see how this is key, and this is what people won't tell you. Spam A to get off this block as soon as possible. All you're trying to do is distract him for a few seconds so that he can't double team, and then boom, you're out into coverage. So that's really a great defense from match coverage, particularly cover 6, to stop all the flood concepts. Corner streak flat, whether they want to call it deep cross or whatever they want to do, that's how you shut it down. All right, maybe zone coverage isn't your forte, or you're watching your opponents lock you down in man and you want to do the same thing. Let me show you a trick to make your man coverage 10 times better. All right, so we're going to come into any man coverage based play. I'll just call cover 1 robber, right? That's perfectly fine. So you're going to see that this play that they have called. We want to look at this corner right here, Isaiah Rodgers, okay? Number 7, who's shaded outside, right? So if their receiver were to obviously run this corner route, we're shaded outside. So we're kind of expecting him to already do a good job in man coverage, kind of by default. He's shaded outside, but you see how he kind of got cooked a little bit on that route. Honestly, I think if I threw that, he probably would have broken on that pass and guarded it pretty well, because again, he's shaded outside, but he kind of gets, this isn't even, this is who I thought it was, but boom, he's able to play pretty good man coverage down the field, all right? And that's fine. Bigger receivers might be able to, beat him. Let's just go ahead and put this receiver on like an in route, for example, right? Where he has outside leverage, but he's kind of he kind of gets beat across the field, although he's not in bad position. We do catch the ball, but he's not in bad position. But here's how you can make your man coverage 10 times better, okay? We know about route shading. So obviously, here's the thing. If you shade your coverage outside, right, and he's running a corner route, you're going to see what happened earlier where he does a good job. But what if you shade your coverage inside and he runs a corner route where you guess wrong? Right? And this is a real thing. You're going to see how it's not always going to be the case that he gets open, but you're able to see he had some separation out there on the sideline. Again, it's not going to be every time that guy's going to get open, but the best practice is to obviously guess correctly. If they're calling a corner route, you want to shade outside, but you can't always guess right. Well, meet the route commit, okay? So you're going to shade inside, right? But then you're going to route commit outside, right? Or you could shade outside, route commit inside, but really you just want to make sure that you're doing it in opposite directions is the best way that I've seen, okay? Because you're going to see how we're shaded inside, but this time we're route committed outside, and that's basically going to tell him, okay, I think this man's running inside. But when I'm on offense, if I see they're shaded outside, if I see they're shaded inside, I want to call outside breaking routes. Obviously that makes sense. But now you're going to see how he's basically, that time, look how much cleaner that man coverage is. That time, that man coverage was way better than even when he was shaded outside, right? Because essentially, you're running the route for the receiver. You're telling this corner, you see how he basically already is darting out to the sideline, running the route for the receiver? This is what the route commit will do. Right? And so you're going to say, BLT, that's fantastic. We're able to shut down corner routes very easily just by route committing outside and man coverage, right? But what about when he runs inside? And And that's a perfect and a good point, valid point for you to make. Now, this is gonna, I mean, it's not really gonna depend on the corners that you have. You can see how this is a regular corner. Obviously, when you have, those bigger, taller, better corners, this is gonna be even better for you. But what if I do the same thing, all right? I'm gonna shade inside, but this time I'm gonna route commit outside again. But this time I'm gonna have him run a post route. And really, for the most part, when you use this feature, you see how you don't really get cooked as bad as like you probably should with this. It honestly, and it's been like this since the game came out, the route commit is just really, really overpowered. Like, you could see how he turns like he's gonna dart out to the sideline, but then he like shuffles his feet, and this is like lockdown man coverage. Like, you can't throw this pass, it's too tight. Even if you try to freeform pass lead out to the left side, like, this is just really good man coverage. So I hope that demonstration kind of shows you that by using the route commit, you're gonna be able to essentially, cover everything. You're certainly gonna be able to cover it if you guess correctly, but even when you guess wrong, you're going to be able to cover. And really all you have to do to route commit is press Y, then you're going to press A, press the receiver's icon, which is B in this case, and then I'm going to route commit inside or outside, right? So here I'm obviously going to shade inside by pressing Y, and then right stick to the left, shade inside, and then I'm going to press Y, A, B, and then left stick left, right? Or excuse me, right, to route commit outside. So again, here, he's gonna call a corner out, and essentially you can see how, again, we're just running the route for the receiver, lockdown man coverage using the route commit. So this is pretty much guaranteed to make your man cover 10 times better, even if you guess incorrectly. All right, if you found any of those tips helpful, just imagine all the expertise and knowledge that I have in my defensive ebook. You can go to the link down below the description in the pinned comment and grab my Vikings defensive ebook, again, by using code WELCOME to get 20% off. But if you're still struggling on offense in Madden 26, I encourage you to check out this video where I break down 5 tips to help you transform your game on that side of the ball. I'll see you over there.